How does trauma experienced in childhood affect us over our lifetimes? What toll does abuse, assault, and neglect have on our minds and our bodies? And how do we get better? Let's take a closer look. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist. We are all familiar with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, as a consequence of living in war zones. It is expected that a quarter of the soldiers who serve will develop serious post-traumatic problems. We often associate PTSD with military service, but the reality is that the majority of Americans will experience a violent crime at some time during their lives, and experience the same symptoms of panic, fear, hypervigilance, extreme anxiety, and difficulty functioning in daily life. 12 million women in the United States have been victims of rape, with more than half of those being girls younger than 15. For many, the war begins at home. Each year, millions of children in the United States are reported as victims of child abuse and neglect. 1 million of these cases are serious and credible enough for Child Protective Services to take action. In other words, for every soldier who serves in a war zone abroad, there are 10 children who are endangered in their own homes. Childhood trauma is an unspoken epidemic plaguing millions, with resulting symptoms frequently misdiagnosed as mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, bipolar, obsessive compulsiveness, and ADHD. Childhood abuse often qualifies as complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD. What's the difference? PTSD usually occurs after a single traumatic event, while CPTSD occurs after repeat inescapable trauma. It's important to recognize that chronic emotional abuse and neglect can be just as devastating as physical abuse and sexual molestation. Not being seen, not being known, and having nowhere to turn to feel safe is devastating at any age, but it is particularly destructive for young children. Being able to feel safe with other people may be the single most important aspect of mental health. Safe connections are fundamental to having a meaningful life. Social support is not the same as merely being in the presence of others. The critical issue is reciprocity, that when we reach out, they will reach back. There's no replacement for being truly heard and seen by the people around us, feeling that we are held in someone else's mind and heart. For us to calm down, self-soothe, heal, and grow, we need an inner feeling of safety and acceptance. When we are seen and heard by the important people in our lives, it can make us feel calm and safe. Conversely, being ignored or dismissed can precipitate rage reactions or mental collapse. Focused attunement with another person can shift us out of disorganized and fearful states. Childhood abuse affects every aspect of your life. If you suffered in this way, you may struggle to manage your emotional responses or keep them within a typical range. This can look like a wide range of emotions, including sadness, anger, and irritability. You may struggle to focus and concentrate. You might experience challenges in getting along with yourself and others. Your moods and feelings may rapidly shift from one extreme to another, from temper tantrums and panic to detachment, flatness, and dissociation. When you get upset, which might happen often, you may struggle to calm yourself down or to describe what you were feeling. Having a biological system that keeps pumping out stress hormones to deal with real or imagined threats leads to physical problems such as sleep disruption, headaches, unexplained pain, oversensitivity to touch or sound. Being so agitated or shut down keeps you from being able to focus your attention and concentration. To relieve tension, you may turn to rocking or self-harming activities like biting, cutting, burning, and hitting, pulling hair out, or picking at your skin until it bleeds. Childhood trauma can lead to difficulties with language processing and fine motor coordination. You may be spending all your energy on staying in control. It is usually a struggle to pay attention to things like schoolwork that are not directly relevant to survival. Being hyper-aroused or flooded with intense emotions makes you easily distracted. Being frequently ignored or abandoned leaves you clinging and needy, even with the people who have abused you. This is further perpetuated by the fact that quite often you have internalized the trauma, meaning you might feel that it is your fault, or you should have done more to stop it. Suicidal ideation can even creep in. Having been chronically mistreated, you struggle to not define yourself as defective and worthless. The combination of feeling fundamentally despicable and overreacting to slight frustrations may make it difficult to make friends. If you've experienced sexual abuse, you may suffer from a large range of profoundly negative effects, including challenges with thinking clearly, depression, dissociative symptoms, troubled sexual development, high rates of obesity, and self-mutilation. Abuse victims often shut down and become numb. If you are stuck in survival mode, your energies are focused on fighting off unseen enemies, which leaves no room for nurture, care, and love. For us humans, it means that as long as the mind is defending itself against invisible assaults, our closest bonds are threatened, along with our ability to imagine, plan, play, learn, and pay attention to other people's needs. In order to play, have intimate relationships with our partners, or nurture our children, the brain needs to turn off its natural vigilance. Often, traumatized individuals are too hypervigilant to enjoy the ordinary pleasures that life has to offer, while others are too numb to absorb new experiences, or to be alert to signs of real danger. Over time, the body adjusts to chronic trauma. One of the consequences of numbing is that teachers, friends, and others are not likely to notice that you are upset. Honestly, you may not even register it yourself. By numbing out, you no longer react to distress the way you should. For example, by taking protective action. It seems better to feel nothing than to feel hurt, anger, fear, and panic. It is especially challenging for traumatized people to discern when they are actually safe and to be able to activate their defenses when they are in danger. This requires having experiences that can restore the sense of physical safety. So, how do you heal? By developing resilience. Resilience is the capacity to bounce back from adversity. We learn how to take our hardships and reframe them to be empowering instead of victimizing. You may have suffered abuse and hardship, but you are a survivor. You understand the pain and fear and are better equipped to support others who are going through similar ordeals. You are an advocate. Your experiences can help others grow, and you can learn and heal from theirs. Giving yourself purpose, taking your pain, and putting it to use, even if only to thrive yourself, as the ultimate act of taking back the power. This is how you heal. We must also learn how to manage our panic and anxiety symptoms when triggered. Self-soothing to regulate our heart rate and breathing so that we can think clearly and experience calm. We learn to assess our current situation for safety, taking comfort when we are safe, and taking proactive steps to improve our circumstances and abilities when we are not. Of course, there is more than this that goes into healing from childhood trauma, and what this looks like moving forward will be the topic of future videos, as well as our full innate healing program. Now, I want to hear from you down below in the comments. How does childhood trauma affect you? What do you do to cope? Or if you have questions for us about dealing with the effects of childhood trauma and moving forward in a healthy way, let us know in the comments below and we'll gladly address them. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get our new videos. Here at Mended Light, we're invested in helping you heal yourself so that your light can shine to the world, so that you can be the happiest, best version of you. Things can get better. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist, and I'll see you next time.